Welcome everybody to another Behind the Competitor. This time I'm with another New York legend, Mr. Jessie Wray. How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Long time, man. Long time.
Yeah. So you guys have been watching this Behind the Competitors, and you know we give a lot of good in-depth interviews. So this one's no different. We want to go into a lot of different topics. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn because it's about to be interesting. All right. So let's start off. 1982. You're 7 years old. You start martial arts.
Yep.
Why?
All right. So I grew up in Castle Hill, which is a project area in the Bronx, tough area, whatever. So my mother used to keep us busy, and she would let us go to the community center. Now my sister was playing basketball there, so I was just going there, watch her play. And down the hall, they had a karate class. I hear people yelling, or whatever. And I was into the karate from watching the karate movies,
Kung Fu movies.
Definitely. So I went there and I sat down and I just started watching the class. And, I was getting a little hype. Like, yeah, I do that. And then the instructor asked me, like, young man, you want to join the class? I was like, yeah. He said, bring a note from your mother with permission or whatever. And then from there, that's how I started.
So basketball didn't interest you, but karate did.
My sister was playing. It was a girls' basketball thing. So
They
I was just going to watch it.
They have boys basketball?
Yeah, I used to play around the block, but this is the first time that somebody approached me about playing.
Okay.
I was 7, so at the time.
All right. So so when you got to know, what was your first experience and who was your instructor?
My instructor, his name is Michael Dean, and I went home, got the note, asked my mother, she said yes, signed the note, gave him the note, and I started right there with the clothes that I had on. I'll never forget, I had a turtleneck on, I had a hole under my shirt, right? And the same day, the instructor put me to fight, and I dropped the kid. And he was training there for...
So your first day you had to fight?
My first day I fought.
So
no equipment.
I was gonna say, so you just got in there and
got in there.
Did they show you how to punch? Did Mr. Dean have to show you how to punch a kick?
We went through the regular workout. He showed us certain punches. We went over stance. Practice was 2.5 hours. So we went over a lot of stuff. We did stretching. And he was like, when it was time to fight, all the kids had their gis on, and he was like, you up. I got up and I ended up dropping the kid, and kind of got addicted to it. I was like, yeah, this is me right here.
I'm good at this. I can
do
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So from there, what was your first tournament experience?
My first tournament was a New York local, and I was a white belt. Took me to the tournament. I thought I was pretty good. I lost my first fight. First fight. I remember I was crying. This kid was moving around, and boom, 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 and I lost. And I was crying, and my instructor wiped my tears. He was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Get him on next time." So yeah,
So how long before you got your first win? Or division win, I should say.
It probably took me. I don't think I got any wins out of white belt. But I didn't go to too many tournaments. But probably my third tournament is when I started making a little bit of noise. And then remember, we competed in like 5 divisions. We did fighting, weapons, self-defense, kata, and if you were up to that, breaking.
I was about to say, you one of the people who were doing the breaking?
We was breaking. I was a breaker.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, and when you competed in the tournaments, did you have gear? Did you have like some hand pads, or did you just
My
have
instructor had a bag of stuff, never got wiped off, and go in there and find something, whatever.
Yeah, that's what you wore.
Yeah, that's what we wore. But there were no headgear. Mouthpiece, yes. We did have a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I had your own mouthpiece. Were y'all using that community mouthpiece?
No community mouthpiece. But there was a time where that happened before. Not with me, but that happened before.
Okay.
Me, I'll dip over to the other side. Because it was like, you're about to get disqualified for one of the kids, and He looked around. Me, I walked off, and he took some.
Hilarious. All right. So at that point, you were addicted. Now you were going to school, and you had to, you know, as far as keeping grades and things like that, steady.
Yeah.
At what point did it? Because you know, it had to have gotten around school that you did karate.
Yeah.
Now, were you the person that was in class demonstrating, or just walking around like, yeah, I could do this, or like, so what kind of like what was the interaction when you were a kid doing?
All right. So there was two things. There was when I was like a purple belt, but even before that. But this one stands out of my mind. I was a purple belt. There was these twins. Jody probably know them because they was terrorizing the Bronx. There was these twins that they were terrorists. So we were okay. We was cordial. I lived in one building. He lived in the next building, and he was like the toughest person in our generation. And then one day we got into it. He bumped me, and bumped him, and what you want to do? And I put a little clinic on him. Once I did that, bam! I was the Karate Kid. And nobody really messed with me. That was it.
So at that
And
moment,
even after that, he was like, "Yo, me and him became good friends, or whatever."
hilarious.
You know. And then and when I went to junior high school, I was pretty good, man. I'm telling you, things spread like wildfire. Whatever.
So people just left you alone at that
Yeah,
point.
but I was one of those kids. Like, I really, if you had a problem with me, somebody knew it was something. I didn't have problems with people. You know what I mean? Like, you had to do something if me and you got into it. But I played multiple sports. I played basketball. I played football. I did karate. And went to school. I did all this at one time. And not just around the block. We're talking about in a league. Whatever. So that's when the little kids be like, oh, my son is quitting. He wants to play basketball now. I don't got no patience for that.
Like, no, you need to stay in it.
Yes.
Because I was the kid. I grew up in it. I know what it takes. You can do
all of that, and I managed it. And baseball.
Now, are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest boy.
Okay. So you have an older sister or older sisters?
I have two. My oldest sister passed away. She passed away in 91, 92. And then I have an older sister, Kaya. She's out. She's always out with us in the team. Most people know her. But she was a great martial artist too. Then comes me. Then comes my sister, Kiana, who was a great martial artist. Like, she was really good. I wish she was come back. And then comes Lawrence. Well, they'll probably know him as Cody. Lawrence. Then comes my sister Shayna, which was a great martial artist also, and my brother Sheldon, which most of you guys know. He's a baby.
Like seven? Seven kids. Okay.
Kids.
So now, most of them after you were doing martial arts? Or
It just like became natural. It became like a family thing. I jumped in it, and my sister Kaya jumped in it. She was playing basketball, and then everybody else fell in line. It was like, this is what we do. You know, they would come, watch me and bring home the trophies and stuff like that. And, they just jump right in.
Do it.
Yep.
Okay.
As soon as they got up age, they was in.
Okay. So now with that, you are I'm not gonna say the senior because you had Kaya. So she was kind of. How did you manage as far as the rank in the house and just the structure as far as your house and your mother and everything else? How was
it trained too?
Aha. Okay.
Well, that was later. That was way after us. I was the highest rank. However, Kaya was older than me, so it was still that older sister brother thing. Like, my father would be like, "Yo, take your brother with you." She don't want to take me with her. I want to go play. So it was still that. Oh, you got to watch your brother.
Yeah.
Whatever. So it was still ranking on until we got a little older.
So when you're okay, what's the relationship as far as your dad goes when you started doing martial arts? Like, how was he there? Like, yeah, boy, you did all right. Or, I mean, what was it like as far as was mom was the one cheering like, yeah?
It was really my mom thing. My dad was just like, y'all do you. You know, that's a whole different story. But mom's was the one that was always there, involved for support, whatever. But one time, my father, I was like, yo, a tournament cost like $30. It was like his last $30. He gave me the 30. Said, I mean, he didn't want to give it to me. He said, you better not lose. And I lost. I came tiptoeing to the house, went to sleep. Whatever. He never mentioned it though, but I know he knew.
You ever give him the $30 back?
Nah.
All right. So now you started getting notoriety as far as when you started winning. When did you start winning consistently as far as in the juniors up to your young adult?
When I was a green belt, I started making a little bit of underbelt noise or whatever. Green belt, purple belt really, but green belt I started getting a couple wins, and purple belt. But brown belt is where page turn.
Now, how old were you when you said you were a brown belt?
A brown belt, I was about 12, 13. That's when the page turned. Because I don't know if you remember, but sometimes the division was brown, red, and black.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So back then, it wasn't like a separate black belt division. Once you was in the brown belt division, you were going against brown, red, and black.
Yep.
And then that page turned. That's when everything turned. Because I got picked up to be on a Smash team.
You were on Smash?
On a Smash. I'm one of the original.
You one of those Smash kids.
I'm one of the original Smash kids. And Boyce Liddell talked to my instructor, and bam, that was it.
Now, what was it like being on Smash? Because y'all were the ones you guys and Metro were the ones I wanted to beat the most. Like when I was a kid, like, he was like, yo, they on teams and stuff like that.
That was an awesome experience because you know, you're in a team, you wear your colors, you got friends from all over the country, and everybody's talking about y'all. We're on the magazines, or whatever. So it was like, yo, we here, we have arrived, whatever. It was a great experience, and then the talent on there was like off the chain.
Who else was on the team with you?
We had Peter Allende. Mafia had like a little junior named Jamie. This kid, like he fought just exactly like Mafia as a junior. Brian Roof. Roof. Richie Everett. John Marshall. A lot of people, man. A lot of people.
All right, so
Seneca Luther. Oh my goodness. John Valero was on. A little minute.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Okay. So, were you around? Okay, so you were probably younger than Ernie Reyes Jr. then.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
Because he was around. I guess he was 16. He was probably around 85, 86. I think so.
Man. Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
I think we was around the same bracket. I used to see Ernie.
Okay.
It was an influence though, because you know once he did that movie,
yeah,
he was in The Last Dragon, and that was it.
Now, what was the influence of that? Because you were around that. You were probably what, a purple belt when that came out or something like that. Because that came out like what, 85, 84, something around there.
My instructor was a little stingy with rank, but yeah, something about that.
So what was it like? What was it like seeing like, because it was based in New York, but it was like in Harlem though, right? It was like uptown.
Yeah, it was in Harlem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was a little different, but at the same time, but you're still New York, and you're just seeing
still
this.
New York. I'm like, wow. You know, you see a few people that you've seen before. The Ernest Hyman's dojo, like we know Ernest Hyman for years. Everything was in his dojo. So everything was close, but it was far. It was like, yo, you can't get no movie deals. One of the major schools that really made our school tough, it was this school named Wolfox, and it was from Bronx River. It was like a project battle, man. And they were all the mean dudes in the movie.
Okay, so
Beast.
He's from there.
That's the head instructor. Beast. All those guys, man. They were in that movie, and that scene inside the movie theater.
Yeah.
With that whole crew. I was like, yo. You know,
Okay.
those look cool.
That's pretty dope. All right. So what was it like as far as the transition from NBA, from Karate Illustrated to NASCAR, and then it just turns, you guys with the boys with Smash and go to NBL. So what was that whole era like? Can you describe it for the people?
Honestly, I was a guy that I did Smash with Boyce, and I would come to the tournaments that he told me to come to. But I was still doing a lot of independent tournaments, so I was never locked into a certain circuit. So it really didn't affect me. Like we were doing whatever tournament my instructor wanted to go to, that's where we went.
So what kind of tournaments did you go to as far as back then?
Oh man, one of our favorites was the Bluegrass National. Because that tournament, coming up from New York, there was a lot of they wouldn't let you throw techniques in the face. It would be like control techniques or whatever. And then when we go out to Kentucky, you can make contact. You can make facial contact. Like, well, so my instructor hyped that through the whole year before it came. You guys could hit, and we loved it, man. We always went there and won. That was like one of the best tournaments, and they gave out the big trophies.
6-foot trophies and stuff like that. And as a kid, that's one of the biggest things you want.
Right, and then after the circuit thing, I got picked up by another team. Well, first I was supposed to be on Metro. I was supposed to be on Metro. I would have been one of the original members. Me, Joseph Rivera. Joseph Rivera, me and him went to junior high school together, same high school, all of that. We live about 5 minutes apart, and Hector called me up, like, yo, I'm gonna put you on the team. Come down. So I go down to his schools downtown, Lower Manhattan, the Lower East Side, and I bring Frank Jones with me. Frank Jones is my schoolmate, whatever. But I just brought him with me because whatever I do, Frank does with me, or whatever. So we both on a dojo floor. We're dressed and warming up. Hector walks in. Yo, who's that? Did I tell you to bring him? Yo, get dressed. I'm like, dang, my heart would beat. I'm like, oh man, kind of embarrassed my friend.
Right.
So I'm still there, and then he came. He's like, look, I'll tell you to bring somebody. When I tell you to come down, man, you gotta come by yourself. All right, so yo, you can stay. So he let Frank stay. Whatever. We went through the whole workout or whatever, and cool. I was basically on the team.
How old were you?
Metro, I would have been maybe 15, probably 15 around that time. And I get a phone call, and I'm talking to Heck on the phone. My instructor was like, I'm gonna call, find out the details. So I was like, yeah, so what's gonna be the details with this? He's like, well, you gotta sign a contract. When you sign a contract, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, wow. At the same time, I got a call from a guy named Ed Budd, which was AKL, a team called AKL. Yeah, man, there was a lot of teams. And this team was like the #1 team. They had a lot of Canadians on there. And they were sponsored by Reebok. So he hit me
Okay,
up.
time out. All right, first off, I just want to put a pause in here that there's a team that was sponsored by Reebok, and nowadays we have regressed. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna get to that. We'll probably talk about
That's
it later.
a whole nother story.
Like,
A whole nother story. I mean, I had boxes of Reeboks in my crib, man. Boxes. So, so I was like, yo, hold on, man. This guy, he's aggressive. He's saying this and that. He's talking about contracts. I'm going over here. You know? So I went with AKL. We was the #1 team. And a lot of players didn't speak English. They was from Canada, and some of them did, and we was beating everybody. I think we might have been, I want to say we were undefeated, but I don't remember losing. Somebody knows I lost for AKL, let me know. I don't remember losing. Yeah.
all right, so what happened as far as AKL goes? As far as how did that end?
AKL, I'm not sure, man. I don't remember, but I know it just kind of faded out. kind of faded out. Maybe different sponsors or whatever. Right. So,
Come on back, Reebok.
Yeah, come on back, Reebok. Oh man, and no joke, man. Show up to a tournament, they're giving us pick which one you want. Box of Reeboks.
So when you started before the Budweiser team. Do you remember, because the Budweiser team started in '85, do you remember what it was like prior to this national team movement and then people started doing it?
I remember I started karate before the Budweiser team, but the Budweiser was sponsoring a lot of major events. There was a tournament in New York, Budweiser Classic with Lamar Thornton, and sponsorship was unlimited. Like they were taking care of everything. I mean, the sponsors back in the day was off the chain. Miller Lite was sponsoring. There were so many sponsors, man. Like nowadays, things are going backwards. The money was up here.
Yep.
Yeah, we had Trans World Oil. I was a kid watching all this dude. Trans World Oil, Miller Lite, American Airlines was sponsoring. There were so many sponsors, man. Just pick your poison. They were paying for everything.
Okay.
They were paying for everything.
All right. So let's get into what was it like? Okay, since you were on the AKL team, what was it like when you started battling against Metro? Since they were about to pick you up and you said, you know what, I'm good. I'm going over to AKL. Was it any hard, especially because you said Jessie? I mean, not Jessie. Was it Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just your schoolmate, and he was on that squad, correct?
Right. Well, we didn't really. My squad, we didn't get to fight Metro too much or whatever. But the fix was in because there was one time, just in my regular division, I showed up and Hector was like, "No, we need to see his birth certificate."
Oh wow!
I was like, "My birth certificate? You know how old I am?" No, he don't belong in this division. Of course, my instructor, well prepared, had the briefcase on the side, cracked it. He had a copy of all our birth certificates. Bam! But Heck gave me a little hard time on it, but all the guys was from New York, man. I love those guys. We were all friends. But, I didn't bite the bait at the time, and I mean, when I seen what he had to offer, I was kind of like, I should have went over here. I should have went over here, but it was meant for a reason, man. It was meant to be, you know what I mean? But we connected as an adult. Yeah, I caught the tail end of Metro when Metro was almost finishing.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you like this: my first tournament when I got picked back up with Metro, Hector gave me a call. I was like, "Yo, call me." After I called him, he was like, "Yo, I want you on the team, but I want you to move up to light heavy." I was like, "I have to? It's middleweight. This is where I'm comfortable. I need you to light heavy for now." Joey was in middleweight too, so he gave me a uniform or whatever. I already had a plane ticket for this tournament, Battle of Atlanta, and as soon as I got there, how much was the plane ticket? Plane ticket was like $2 and some change. How much was your hotel? Hotel was about 2 days, $300, and he peeled and gave me about $800 one time, and I just looked back. I think my sister was there, and I was like, wait, let me not blow it up, but I was trying to hold in my smile like, oh man, I've been missing out. I've been missing out.
Yeah,
oh, man.
That's not.
I'm not.
All right. So as far as you switching from, because I remember there's a story of you getting on a New York-based team. Let's back up.
You want to go down the team?
I'm gonna go. Hold on. I'm gonna go back real quick. You were doing set fights.
I was doing set
All right.
fights.
What were the set fights like? Because nowadays we don't really have too many set fights. We're here at the Battle of Atlanta, and right now they have some set fights tonight and things like that. But for the most part, we don't really have set fights in our sport. Yeah. So what was it like going through that? And what venues were you at? Did you fight at Madison Square Garden? And not as a set fight, but just as...
I fought at Madison Square Garden in the hallway. I fought, the only time I got to fight in a guard is Joyce Santa Maria's last tournament, the Empire State National. So no, I wasn't one of those guys. The older generation got to experience the real Madison Square Garden. But I don't know, like karate got away from a lot of those big opportunities and big venues. I think a lot of promoters did a lot of underhand stuff too, from what I heard, a lot of stories. So, that kind of gave our sport the bad name, and a lot of vendors and places was like, we're not dealing with this. Mm-hmm. But as far as set fights, from a kid, the best set fights was with KA school. We did a New York against New Jersey. That was always pumped up and hype. Jersey only got us once. KA won't admit that though. We also had. I had a set fight. One of my biggest set fights in New York was against Tony Morrison. Tony Morrison was Top Gun. He was a top competitor out there, and I used to watch him growing up. Run to his ring and see what Top Gun is doing, and then I guess it was my turn to bow into him.
How did that come about? Like, who came to you and said, I want you to fight Tony Morrison? You're like, okay.
I think there was a promoter named Bolo. He's Big Bolo from New York. Yeah.
Not Bolo.
Not that Bolo, but he was Big Bolo. He's a good friend, and he said he wanted to have a set fight at his tournament with Tony Morrison. And I was like, let's do it. And he spoke to Tony. Tony said, let's do it. And at the time, I was on the Philadelphia National Karate Team. Yeah, I was on a lot of teams, man. Keith McKinley, actually Carlos from Philly really hollered at me, told me he wanted me on the team, and then he spoke to Keith, and then Keith spoke to me, and Chris Styles and Akin Williams was already on the team, so that was a no-brainer.
Okay.
I jumped on there, so so I was fighting on the Philadelphia International team, and at the time I fought Top Gun. Once the fight got confirmed, I swear, I'm telling you God's honest truth, I drew a picture of him. So every day I wake up, get out my bed, I see a picture of him on my wall, and I start praying, I start getting up, start working out, start training. Every time I come home, I look at the picture, hitting outside, going to run, getting in shape. I was like train really hard for that fight, man. Because he had a crew. He was part of the Fontanez regime. They had about 5 schools in New York. I mean, when I came into that arena, they had banners. It was like, yo, this is a big deal.
They had
banners. And K was the center rep.
Wow.
K was the center rep.
Now, what happened in the fight?
In the fight, we both came out and put our best foot forward. I ended up getting the win, but it was a great fight. It was awesome energy. We had my section, they had their section, and it just revitalized New York, man. Like that fight is like goes down in history. That's like when you say set fight, that's one of the first ones that come to my mind. Like I met a few people and they still talk to me about that. Like, you my hero. So I was a younger guy coming up. He was the vet or whatever. So, it was one of those things where, look, move up my way, it's my time.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this. All right, when did you meet Ak?
Ak used to take me to tournaments, man.
Really?
Yeah, Ak used to take me to tournaments with the permission of my instructor. I knew Ak from years ago when I was a kid, and he's about 4 years older than me. So let's say he was 18, I was like 14. He had a little car, and he'd go to a tournament and come ask my mother if I could go with him, and he'd take me around. He was taking me a lot of tournaments. So I was like a mentor. You know what I mean? He was a good guy, never doing any extracurricular activities, positive role model. I had a lot of respect for Aka. But he kind of took me under the wing.
Is he Bronx or is he Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Okay.
That's the only thing we really disagree on. You know what I mean? Brooklyn and the Bronx, two separate entities.
Right. So what was it like, well, as far as, because Garth was fighting back then, and how did your interaction with him go?
Garth was older than me too, and so I was another one watching Garth come up. Garth actually got me, he don't even know this, to start making up my own musical katas or open katas.
Really?
Yeah, because him and his brother named John, you know, they used to do open katas, and we're from the same system. We're from the same martial arts system, the Shogun karate system, and he was the few ones out of the group, him and John, that were doing all of that. And we was like, how come we don't do none of that? And we start watching, we start making up our own stuff. So, Garth, man, shout out to you.
All right. Now, your relationship as far as in New York, you mentioned him earlier, Jerry Fontanez.
Yeah, Jerry Fontanez. Jerry, nobody could take away from what Jerry has started in New York. Like, he brought the whole movement as far as, like, doing things different, blitzing, and, you know, a different type of fight style. He's a big part of New York. I know a lot of people who say, "Yo, didn't you have beef with Jerry?"
Well, get into that. Like, what is the whole?
So did you see something you hear this?
Yeah.
The small discrepancy that Jerry, it's all up, man. Me and Jerry's in a good space now. All right, he put me on to something too. So shout out to Jerry. But at the time, I just finished my tournament. I had a tournament called the King of New York. All right. Basically, Jerry did something back in the days called King of New York.
Mm.
You know, mine was actually like a tournament, open tournament for everybody to come to. Jerry did something also. It was smaller, but credit where credit is due. Jerry, after a successful tournament, people showing him love. Jerry put something up insinuating that I was copying off of him or biting off of him, where the two lines never really intersected. And it caught me at a bad time, man. And I read that, I got a little emotional, and I said some things, you know, that, you know, I went back, after I calmed down or whatever, and I spoke to Jerry on the phone, like men do. Picked up the phone, gave him a call. And we talked right there, that same day, that same time, and then we both took our posts down, and it was love after that.
You didn't tweet at him or nothing like that?
Nah, I mean, I did. I sent something out, and then this is when I first got on Facebook, because where he put it out there was on Facebook, so I put it back out there on Facebook, and you know, a lot of people was like, "Yo, take that down." Nah, I ain't taking nothing down. Whatever. But like I said, we spoke like men. We squashed it. We got back on the same page, and love is love.
Cool. All right. Now, well, let's Jotty. Yeah, because you guys are like best friends. Like yeah, y'all are really close. So let's go there.
I think on that set fight, I was fighting, I think, Bobby Harris in my regular division, and I fell into the crowd, and I see Jotty. He had a part in his hair. I see Jotty like catching me. I didn't even know him, man. I didn't even know him.
Hilarious.
And then me and him spoke at that same tournament, I believe, and he was like, Jessie Wray? I was like, yeah, what's up? I was like, who's this dude, man? You know, who's a pretty boy dude? And he was like, yeah, you was on the Smash cover and all that. I mean, on the magazine. I was like, yeah, man, this dude know my whole life situation. Yeah. Or whatever. And we started speaking or whatever, and I told him, like, I'm over in Castle Hill. He was like, you're in Castle Hill? I'm over here. So we actually, like, were real close to each other, like about 2-3 minutes away. And we went to the same high school. I was like, really? How I really don't know you? So they was talking about training, and I said, all right, I'm in Castle Hill. And I think a brother named Exotic told him.
Come on, what? This is want to make sure I heard that. You said Exotic, right?
Jerry, he's one of Jerry guys. They all got names. His name is exotic. Lewiston.
Okay.
Right? Said, go see Jessie. Told him to go see me or Aki. When I told him I was in Castle Hill at the community center, he was like, oh, I'm going over here. This is a rough neighborhood or whatever. And I used to get that a lot on the circuit. When I was young, it was like, yeah, where's your studio at? I know, we from the community center. Oh, you're good to be from the center.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that lit my fire.
Really?
That motivated me like nothing else. Oh, you train in a community center? Oh, you good to be from a center? What? Really? Where's your studio at? Sorry, we don't have no studio. Where's your academy? We don't have no academy. So, Jotty, I think he went down to Ock first. But then we ended up hooking back up. And then after that, that was it. We was thick as thieves. And Jotty is funny, man. I always tell people, like this dude, he had, he was athletic, you know, he had ability. But he would be this close to you and wouldn't punch. Like he'll try to throw a hook kick or something like that. Yeah, he'd be that close to you. So, you know, we got all those things together, man. And with him, at the time, Frank was going through a lot of personal stuff or whatever. And honestly, I was like a young veteran, kind of. I did a lot. I've been to a lot of tournaments. I traveled all over. I'm not gonna say I was burnt out, but you know, I was. Once Frank wasn't in the picture, I was still training. Things wasn't the same. But then here comes Johnny, and the passion that he had for training was like nothing I've never seen before. All right, Johnny. Better respect me, man. Respect me.